Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
The following program contains graphic subject matter, content, and material. Viewer discretion is advised. It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Dallas, Texas, and 7 p.m. in New York City. Hello, everybody. I'm Mad Dog the Scipio, joined by Big Lou, Marconi, and Amelia. God help me. Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman, is with us again. I don't know why she keeps coming back, but she's here. Tonight we have that's about as much fun we're going to have tonight because we got a serious subject matter. Tonight we are going to hit the subject head on. It's human, adult, and child sex trafficking. Human trafficking in general, but particularly the interest in sex trafficking. It is at an epidemic level. Big Lou, would you venture a guess on how many? Let's just start with the adults right now.
Mm-hmm.
Between 18 and 35, how many adults, just off the top of your head, go missing every year?
In the United States?
In the States from sex trafficking?
Oh, geez. I would say probably at least 10 to 30,000 around that, at least. Am I off?
The number is 80%. 80 out of every 100 people that go missing are thought to be kidnapped into adult sex slavery. Anywhere from 75 to 85, they're averaging at 80% out of every 100 people. Now, I want you to think about that. That's 80 out of every 100. That's a staggering number.
And how many people are missing?
Venture a guess, Amelia. The number of children in the same category.
I'm going to say about 15,000.
On a yearly basis.
About 15 to 50,000.
Hold on to your ass.
Mm-hmm.
More than 400,000 children.
Whoa.
Every year. Just in America. Just in the United States. 400,000 kids a year go missing. Largely 98, according to, listen to this one, according to the Attorney General of Florida, former judge named, and I'll tell you who she is right now. Former head of the Florida task force says that upwards of 98% of missing children are thought to be sold into sex trafficking and slavery rings. That's from your state. By the way, you should be very proud that you lived in two of the states that are among the highest in the country. In fact, Texas and Florida ranked number 2 and number 3, only surpassed by California being number 1. In California alone, more than 175,000 just in California alone go missing each and every year. That's just children between the ages of 9 and 18.
Wow.
Okay. Adults, it's around 70 to 80,000. 18 to 35 demo. This is what we're talking about, folks. This is our subject matter tonight. So if you got a queasy stomach, or if you're in any way, shape, or form a bleeding heart, you might want to turn the channel right now, because I'm going to offend you, and I will tell you straight up, I will offend the fuck out of you tonight. because Mad Dog's in the mood.
Well, you
Lou,
know what?
go ahead. What do you got?
It's a very uncomfortable subject, but it's a subject that needs to be brought into light. It's a subject that
Abso-fucking-lutely
needs to
it
be
does.
discussed.
Mhm.
And this we talked about this before. I think
Yep.
I'm not sure which podcast it was, but the Sound of Freedom,
Yes, sir.
and that took place. I assume you both seen it.
I've seen the movie.
I
Yes.
own a copy. Yeah,
Yes. Okay. That happened. If I believe that was in Honduras.
sure
Was
was.
that? Yeah, Central America. So I mean, that wasn't even in the United States, but it gives you an idea of the dangers that's there. And the thing that I remember when that movie came out, there was a lot of pushback
Yeah,
from the mainstream media about the subject.
yeah.
It's kind of like there's a lot of powerful people that want to keep this
Well, do you think about why?
under
Think
wraps.
about
Yeah.
why, Lou. Do you have to wonder long or hard, Lou, to figure out why?
No. There
No,
was
you don't.
there was some pushback. There was like a guy that was a producer on the movie
They're making money off it, kid. They're making they're
Yeah.
making money.
with
A
a
lot
he
of
was
it.
a youth pastor at a church group, and I
Uh-huh.
guess one of the young ladies that was in his youth group,
Yeah.
he was older. They eventually got married.
Yep.
And they were making it sound like he was a groomer, he was a pedophile.
Right.
And I only saw it in one source. I really dug in and did the research. I
Mm.
wanted to hear about it. I was going to talk about it on my show.
Sure.
I was like, if this is true, then bring it to light. He's wrong too. But that didn't last. And they're like, I mean, let's look at what society, what we're doing as a society right now, where I'm arguing with people online, and I don't care. I'm going to argue with this. I said, why is it acceptable to sexualize kids? And I'm talking about in classrooms. There's these performing arts that are obviously designed for are supposed to be for adults, but people are bringing like kids
Right.
to these shows.
You know who sexualizes children more than anything else?
Who?
Women.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you how and why. They do
Yeah.
it every year, several times a year with the Miss Pumpkin pageant, the
Oh.
Little Miss Beauty
The
contest.
toddlers and tiara ladies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hello?
they do.
They're
That's
nuts.
a pedophile's wet fucking dream, brother.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Are
That's
you
why
kidding me? Those
TLC
guys are
took it off
coming in
the
their
air.
pants
Yeah.
watching that shit.
Yeah. TLC took it off the air because
Yeah.
they thought it was inappropriate. But now-
Inappropriate. It was on for 5 years before they took it off.
yeah.
Yeah, they do
It
that.
couldn't have been that inappropriate. It was making them money, Lou.
Mm.
Amelia, question for you.
Yes.
In your research, give me some some information that might surprise me. I've done a lot of research, but I want to hear what you've done.
well,
Give me some
two-thirds-
info that you think might surprise me with regarding human trafficking.
Well, 2/3 of the trafficking victims are U.S. citizens.
Say that again, please.
2/3 of the trafficking victims are U.S. citizens.
Well, that's probably not accurate. It's probably higher than that. 2/3, you say?
Yeah,
I'd
2/3
say
is
it's
what I
about-
saw in there.
I'd say it's between 85 and 90%. So it would be up around. I don't even. How would you want to say this? Like 3.5 out of 4, maybe you want to say?
Probably. Well, and then
Okay.
also
It's
the
really high, Neil.
yeah,
The
and then
state of
course-
Florida alone, the state of Florida is telling us, these are their stats.
Mhm.
98% of the people that go missing in Florida, of the people that go, I'm sorry, let me say it again. Of the
Mhm.
people that go missing, of the children that go missing in Florida, 98% are presumed to have been sold into slavery and human trafficking.
Oh, yeah, and then of course the
And-
ones that get me is the ones that get promised like visas, citizenship papers, documents, but the corrupt immigrant officers are also involved in that as well.
You're going to see some very interesting photos tonight. It should speak volumes on this subject. It's another reason I'm fired the fuck up tonight, to be honest with you. In fact, you know what? Let's just look at it now. We're not
Go
going
right
to say
ahead.
anything. We're just
Go
going to
ahead.
look at this. Take a look.
Take your time.
Are we starting to see a pattern here? Or is it only me? Let's continue. Let me know if you're there yet with me.
Help.
Okay. Tell me what you didn't see, and I'll tell you what I saw.
So,
Yeah, Neil, you go first.
It's just a lot of course, it looked like a lot of black men that were pimps to me.
yeah.
A lot of African Americans,
Yes,
and a lot of Jamaicans. Now,
Jamaicans. Yeah.
I did the research. In fairness, there were a number of African American males, but there were a substantial number of Jamaicans. Why Jamaican? First of all, the prisons in Jamaica are overcrowded. They're letting people go every minute, like literally not every day, but like literally every minute. They have so much overpopulation on the island of Jamaica. The jail just can't hold them anymore. That's the one. Number two, if you looked at the number of women involved, there
Yeah.
were equally as many women as there were men. So the women are not innocent in any of this by any stretch. Lou mentioned Honduras. You saw 4 photos there from Honduras.
Mhm.
One of them was a truck full of kids.
Yep.
Okay. The other one was a police officer standing outside over a group of kids that had just been rescued. All in Honduras, by the way. What's the thing about Honduras? Well, let me tell you what the thing about Honduras is. It has no extradition treaty. Again, one of those countries with no extradition treaty. Number 2, it's surrounded by water. Okay. Easy to get boats in and out of, easy to fly in and out of. It's heavily wooded, easy to hide. You could have any number of buildings camouflaged by trees, by shrubbery, by bush. It's a lot of stuff you can do in Honduras and get away with. You can literally get away with murder there because they just don't. I'm sorry to say this, folks. They don't care.
They don't.
They just don't get. Human life means nothing there. These children are used for sexual pleasure. They are disposed of like your old condoms. They're thrown in the trash, except if they're American. If they're blonde hair, blue eye, well, then they're called the cash cow. They're called money in the bank. They like little girls that are blonde hair and blue eyes, and they like little boys with freckles and cute dimples. You know, pedophiles love that shit.
Sorry, I'm getting angry. I'm getting angry. I'm just getting pissed.
That's even the worst part.
You better be fucking getting angry.
That's even the worst too. Like the internet one.
This better get you pissed. Lou, go ahead and vent for a little bit.
Well, I'm a father. I have 2 daughters. I mean,
go ahead. Go for it.
I mean, I got the perfect solution for pedophiles, and it's one bullet at a time. I mean, it's just the sickening thing about this is that you're talking about women sexualizing kids. I'm just going to be. You ever heard of the term called awful?
Yep.
Affluent white female liberals. They'll take their kids to these drag shows and watching grown men dressed up like women and shake their dicks in front of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, what is going through your head? Why do these people have to perform in front of kids? If they want to perform in front of adults and you're an adult, this is your thing, you like that, hey, fine. It's America. Go ahead.
Yep.
But why do you have to have this? Because if I was one, if like say, if I took a 10-year-old boy to a strip club, like a gentleman's club or something like that,
Yeah.
they wouldn't let me do it. I wouldn't be allowed to bring him in the building.
No, of course not.
No.
And it's perfectly right to do that. So that's why I'm trying to get this. Like, why are people looking the other way on these things so much? Why is our society being like
One
this?
answer, Lou. One word answer. Money.
Money.
Let me tell you the financial implication. Well, let's go ladies first. Amelia, how much money do you think just child sex trafficking, how much do you think child sex trafficking nets every year?
About 100 million. I'm going to guess.
Go up a little bit.
100 billion.
Billion?
Go up.
That
Trillion.
much?
Go up. Let me tell you what sex trafficking children between the ages of 9 and 18 is a $7 trillion a year.
What
business.
the fuck?
That number comes from the government itself. That's the Department
That's got to be stopped.
Vital Statistics. I will tell you that adult sex trafficking is near $2.5 trillion per year. Adults. Because the adults aren't as desirable as the little tender ones, evidently. This is what we're talking about. Now, if you're not pissed off yet, you better fucking get pissed off.
Let me
tell everybody let me give somebody some history here. Three things are cited. Three experiences are cited that victims of commercial sexual exploitation commonly share. Number one, prior sexual abuse by a family member or family friend. Number one. Number two, parental neglect or abandonment, or time spent as runaways or throwaways. Sexual abuse in particular is cited as the leading cause for entry into commercial sexual exploitation. An estimated 95% of sex trafficking victims were sexually assaulted as children, and 75%, listen to this one, Amelia and Lou, 75% of all sex trafficking victims were at one point homeless. Now, why is that important? Hey, and here's where being African American comes in. You get a friendly young black guy comes into you, but you saw those guys. There were some of them were pretty nice looking guys, right? Handsome guys, that come up to you. Hey, what's the matter, darling? Are you okay? Listen, I got a couple bucks. You want a couple of bucks? You put this in your pocket. I can't pay you back. Don't worry about it. This is yours. Put this in your pocket. Listen, you have some place to stay? No, I'm going. Oh, listen, I'll give you a room for the night. I got a place for you. Perfectly safe. You're going to come with me, okay? Now they're going to say because he just put money in your pocket.
Yeah,
$20, $50, whatever it was, But it's usually $10 or $20. Yeah, it's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
But to somebody that's on the street, $20 is like $100 bill.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Okay.
And you know what that's called? That's called the grooming stage. Oh,
wait, we're past the grooming here. Oh, we're going right in for the kill here.
The seasoning stage.
Let me explain something. I'm glad you brought that word up. Groomers. Groomers, by definition, take their time. Groomers have an investment. Okay, $20 is not an investment. Okay, we're talking about somebody that's willing to take the time, the energy, the money to make his client, quote unquote, client look good, appealing, in some cases sexy for his
clients.
The pervert, for his clients, okay?
His clientele.
That's important because that's, again, money in the bank. That's the cash cow there.
Did you ever see the movie Slumdog Millionaire?
Yeah, I hated it.
Did you?
I mean,
I
understand. Yeah,
I remember that part when they were little kids in the slum.
Yeah,
and the guy showed up, gave him a Coke, He gave the kids a Coke and he made
You're,
them.
you're making my point for me, Lou.
Yeah, that's what I was
Absolutely.
trying to do. I was making just kind of that's what he did. It was just a Coke.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
That's
But
why
these
I
kids were like,
hated it.
"Oh wow, yeah."
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
I hate it, because that's when you're at that point, you're beyond grooming. You're going in for the jugular now.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody that's going to groom you is going to spend the money to clean you up, make you look good. They're going to buy you nice good. That's grooming by definition. Okay.
Mhm.
Throwing $20 bill in some homeless kid's pocket,
Mhm.
it makes them feel great, for however long it lasts. By the way, most of the time they never get to spend that money because they're taken into a home. They get a nice night's sleep. Soon as they wake
some
up the
food
next morning, they're on the move. They're in a bus, they're in a car, they're in a van, they're on their way, to parts unknown.
Yeah.
They've probably already been sold by then.
I want you to think about this. It's no accident that California, Texas, and Florida are the three most prominent states for trafficking. What do they all have in common? It's simple.
Water.
They're all surrounded by water. Every one of them, Florida, Texas, and California.
Yep.
Water.
Water access.
What's the other thing they have access to? South America.
Mhm.
Okay. It's a hop, skip, and a jump from Rio Grande, Texas to the Mexican border.
Mexico, yeah. Mexico's a big one for California and Texas, yes.
Absolutely. And you know that they don't have enough manpower to traffic all the airplanes that are coming in and out of here. They got these makeshift landing places. They go in, they land, they drop a load of kids off. There's a guard there waiting for them. That plane takes off again, and he's ready for the next batch.
Yep.
This is going on right now in over 100 countries around the world. That's scary.
It is very
What
scary.
you're not hearing about that's even more frightening is the sheer number that comes out of Hawaii. Hawaii's nothing but water.
Yeah.
They've got nothing but water. Okay?
Right.
You know that little incident that happened last summer in Oahu or whatever the fuck it was back
Talking about
there?
the fire? The fire?
Yeah, the fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I assure you that was all tied in to sex trafficking. The Oprah Winfrey end of it, that, my friend, was a smoke screen. There was absolutely a hidden agenda. In fact, when that fire was happening, 4 airplanes took off from a private airfield. You could see it on video, one right after another, up and one behind it and up, 4 of them. Okay.
I heard about that. Was that Alex Jones that first talked about that?
Sure fuck was, Lou.
Okay.
Alex is a prophet, man. I don't care what anybody says. Alex is a prophet.
I love Alex.
Yeah.
I never met him or worked with him, but I'm a fan of his.
He was going to come on our show.
As we talk about it too, it's a distraction that they do so that way they could do other stuff behind our backs too. So.
Yeah. There's all kinds of who knows what else. I heard this statistic, and I don't know if I heard it from The Sound of Freedom or from Alex Jones or from Crowder, but there's more slaves in the world today than ever in the point of history.
That's an absolute fact. I will validate that. I heard that today.
80% of them are kids sex trafficked.
Absolutely.
Oh yes, absolutely.
One of the most egregious offenders is the country of Thailand. Again, now Thailand, you can. You can't make this up. You might want to hold on to this one, Lou, and protect your kids. In Thailand, you can be as young as 10 years old and make money from prostitution.
What?
And you don't need your parents' permission. Well, first of all, you'd be hard-pressed to find a parent in Thailand.
Don't they force marriages on kids at that age too in Thailand?
Say again, please.
Don't they force marriages?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know that. Wasn't there a singer that had a hit in the 70s, Gary Glitter? Isn't he in
Gary
a
Glitter, absolutely.
was it brought that hey that's,
Uh-huh.
I don't know the name of the song, but I've heard it. I heard he's like serving time in prison.
He is.
Or he was
He'll be in prison for the rest of his life.
okay, but it's in Thailand or I can't
I
remember.
believe it's Thailand. I'm gonna find that right now for you, Lou.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just triggered a memory for me. I didn't
Yeah.
mean to distract you from your
You
agenda.
no, that's okay. You did talk for a second. You guys.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. Well, no.
and then also too, if you ever have you heard of the gang trafficking also, where they get these women in the gang, but they have to sleep with every member, and then of
Yeah.
course they don't belong to one member, they belong to all of them, and they're controlled by every single gang member, and they can be sold to anybody, not just any particular gang. They can be sold to anyone, and it doesn't matter how old they are. They could be the gang, like the girl that wants to be in the gang, and they can be sold. Their sisters could be sold if they wanted to be sold, or whatever, just to get the girl in the gang itself.
All these people that get pissed off if they see Confederate flag or Confederate
Mhm.
statue and they're tearing this stuff down. Look what's going on in the world today now.
Exactly.
Where are you?
Absolutely.
What are you doing? You know,
Exactly.
Gary Glitter is still serving time for child sex trafficking in the UK. He
Ooh.
was just up for parole on February the 7th, 2024, and was again for the 11th time denied parole.
Well, good. I hope he gets
Good.
denied every time.
Good. And you know what? Prisoners,
And
if
he's
you're in prison,
81 years old. He's going to die in jail.
yeah, if you're in prison and you're a pedophile or a child molester,
Oh, they're having a fucking field day with
Yeah.
him.
you are the lowest form of life possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
He's
guards
somebody's-
will look the other way because
Yeah.
they have kids. Inmates
Brother,
have
he
kids.
is somebody. He's playing somebody's bitch tonight. I assure you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Let's talk about Lou. Let me talk to you about
Yes, sir.
I want to get you. I want to get Amelia's opinion, but this is a kind of a guy thing, really.
Sure.
Do you support the idea of chemical castration?
I support the idea of castration.
Okay. Because I'm going back. I read something that it all ties into this. Everything ties into this. It's remarkable the series of pegs that knock each other down. It's like this domino.
Right.
And I'm asking that for a reason. You mentioned earlier one bullet at a time.
Yeah.
Well, that's a quick and easy outcome. But if you really want to hurt a child sex trafficker or a pedophile or somebody that's got the jollies on for a little one, the best way to do that, in my opinion, is to cut off their cock.
Hang them upside down and do it slow.
Cut it off with a knife or cut it off with a needle. I don't care how you do it. As long as that thing don't work, it ain't going nowhere.
Do it very slowly too, with a very dull knife.
As Jim Cornette would say, with a rusty fishing knife.
Yes, yes.
Very, very dull and rusty. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I'm that's
the Cornette would say, dirty towels and a rusty fishing knife.
Yep.
So what is your thoughts on that? The idea of taking away the
genitals?
The instrumentation, let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not going to get an argument from me against it. I tell you, I mean, honest.
Here's the thing, though, Lou. There's another side to that, and I want you to stay along there too.
I'm here. I'm keeping my emotions in check.
This is sadly and unfortunately, this subject. Sorry, ladies, but we got to bring you into this. There are a fair number of women involved in this as well. How do we, to use the word castrate, how do we castrate the women? Amelia, you and Lou want to get into this discussion?
Well, the part that makes the women,
sew them up.
The
smart ass.
Fill them with cement.
Right? That too. Yep. That'll be a good one to sew them right up, every little bit of it, so they can't pee or.
Well, okay. Do you remember in The Sound of Freedom that woman that entered?
I cannot stand that woman. I was just about.
What did she do when the police showed up? She put her hands up and said she was a victim.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I didn't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I brought up that question. Is there was my ulterior motive right there. The other thing that we have to address And this perhaps it may be the saddest aspect to this whole thing. And it really is concerning to me. Some of these kids, especially the impressionable ones, 13, 14, 15,
Yes.
just coming into their sexuality, just blooming, okay, especially the young girls. And there's a fair number out there that want young boys too, by the way. But it's largely, cute little tender young girls that these pervs want. Here's the problem. And when I read this in here, and this is, by the way, folks, I'm putting this whole thing in our description tonight on our show. And it's important that you understand this, that you'll be able to check everything out. There are a number of these victims, quote unquote victims, Lou, who actually end up enjoying it and making a pretty good living from it, and in turn perpetrate the cycle all over again. This is like I said, it's the saddest part, it's the sickest part. But there are a number. Here you go, and I'll give you the statistics.
Wow.
I'll give you the stats.
What they come like
As
madams
many.
or
Listen
something?
to this one. Listen to this one. According to the Honorable Joette Katz, stated in front of her State House Committee hearing in Connecticut, that of the 98% that are suspected of going into child sex trafficking and or slavery, upwards as many as 50%. This is her words, not mine, folks. Upwards as many as 50% return the recidivism rate. In other words, almost half of that number do it to others.
Wow. That's
It's like it's just pathology to it. In other words,
yes,
it's kind of like
Lou, if you grow up in a house that's an
abusive.
alcoholic household, okay,
Mhm.
the chances are, if you're around that long enough and
Yeah.
are impressionable, you're going to develop a drinking problem or you're going to become an alcoholic.
Mhm.
Well, the principle here is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. If you're around this long enough, Lou, look, brother, at some point, I don't make this stuff up. This is for real. At some point, it's either going to be fight or flight, or it's going to be throw your hands up and say, okay, look, I'm here now. I may as well do something like make some money.
It becomes normal to you. You like desensitized to the
Yeah.
senses.
You become superbly desensitized. That's a great word. It's a perfect word.
Thank you.
You become completely and superbly desensitized to where you don't feel hurt, pain, remorse, guilt, none of that.
You're numb. You're numb.
Yeah.
The things that make you a human are stripped away, all because of the circumstances you were forced into.
Like familial, is it like trafficking? I think is what it's called.
What's that, Neil?
Familial, like family trafficking.
Oh, familial.
Familial trafficking. Yeah, it's what it's basically called.
I've actually seen that, Amelia. I saw that term today.
Mhm.
And I understand
family members trafficking other family members.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a big thing. But here's the funny part, Lou. You ready for this? Well, you're going to love this.
Oh, I'm sure.
One of the highest states with familial recidivism is Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio.
Wow. Where'd you get that stat? Oh my God, that's sickening.
Yeah, it's sickening. This comes from the United States Department of Vital Stats.
And the gang trafficking is mainly high, like in California.
Department of Health and Human Services is the umbrella. Oh, you got to dig for it, but you'll find it.
Yeah.
Here's what they say, Lou.
Go ahead, man.
In 2017, and for whatever reason, it seems to be largely focused on the western part of Ohio, closest to, I guess, that would be like Indianapolis border.
Indiana,
Yeah.
yeah.
That and that's, by the way, just we're talking about Indiana. Remember what California, Texas, and Florida had in common? The ocean, right?
Right.
What does Indiana have in common with none of them, but with Ohio?
I can think of
Michigan,
interstate highway system.
Closeness to Canada.
Canada, yes.
Canada.
Yeah.
From Ohio to Canada, it's only about 3 hours.
Yeah. You could get to Niagara Falls easily in 3 hours.
In 3 hours.
Yep.
Okay. But this is what we're talking about. You could get your car and drive there.
Yeah.
And no one would ever suspect, because you look like a family. There's the perpetrator's wife or girlfriend. You got the perp. You got the kid in the back seat. They look like a family going to the Niagara Falls, and we're going to be here for a couple of days. We're going to visit. Okay. You know, customs officer. Come on. You go, how long are you going to be in Canada, family? Okay. Oh, we'll be here a couple of days. Then we're going to go back. We're going back to Montana, where we're from. Montana, right?
Yeah.
Folks, I promise you, that these numbers are out there. Go do. In fact, you know what? I did the research for you. I'm going to put this up on our show. You can read it all and have at it, and then do your own research.
Don't forget that internet too, where you could pick the little boy or the little girl that you want. Also, don't forget that.
Oh, wait.
Well, speaking of, I went into Canada.
Since you opened your mouth, Amelia.
Yeah. Go ahead. Forget my point. No, I was just saying it was easy for me to get to Canada. When I was wrestling, I was able to easily get into Canada. It was harder to come back into the States than it was to go into Canada.
And Lou, thank you for bringing that up. It's easier to go than it is to come back. Why? Yep. Because border security on our end is so much more uptight ever since 9/11.
This was before 9/11 too. This was in the late 90s.
Oh, really?
I was in the WWF.
Oh, wow.
I was wrestling for the WWF in Buffalo. I never saw Niagara Falls. I said, yeah, go to the Canadian side. It's nicer. So before I had to go to what was it? Syracuse for the next taping, for the next day of TV. We drove.
Yeah.
And I had my Ohio license. I said, I just wanted to see the falls real quick before I went back to TV. I'm a wrestler, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The guy gave me a little bit of shit, but he let me in. I was like, yeah. It wasn't a problem back then. I was like, no, look, you can check my car. You can do whatever you want. I'm a wrestler.
You know what, Luther? I think sometimes they do that just because it gives them something to do to try to be a hard ass.
Yeah, I didn't take it personally.
They're going to let you through anyway.
Yeah. I said
they did the same thing with my father when he went up there to see his family. Because my father actually, rest in his soul, but my father used to work in Canada when he was a young boy. He used to go there every summer. It got to be where the bus would drop him off on the U.S. side, and he would walk into Canada. Because you could do that back then.
Yeah.
They ain't going to do it now. You can't walk there now. It's all built up.
Yeah.
It's like a 5-lane highway now. You got 3 lanes going into Canada and 2 lanes coming out. It's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt, but go ahead. What were you?
No, go ahead.
No. It's just like, the trafficking. They put you like on message boards, classified ads, and classified ads. That social media.
Do you know what one of the biggest problems here is right now?
Craigslist.
Yeah.
Craigslist used to
had one. Yeah. Erotic section. They had an erotic section.
Yeah. The biggest, you're going to laugh when I tell you because it's hiding in plain sight. Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
They're going right into Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, they call it now. They're going right in. Lou, they're going straight into social media in your face, brother.
And
I get messages all the time. I get messages all the time from these women that aren't obviously real. They're bots, and they're like, "Hey, you want to get together for a hookup? You're beautiful. You're handsome. I like." And I'm like,
I blocked 6 of them today.
I mess with them. I tell them, I said, you don't want me. My penis is too big. That's what I tell them. I swear to God, I told him
Incredible.
that.
I played around with one today. I said, "What color panties you wearing?"
I don't
Anyway,
even do that. I just do that, and they're like,
but
"Really?" I was
Amelia,
like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
barely walk straight."
let's talk about that, Amelia.
Yeah.
One of the other, and I hate to bust your bubble, kid, but one of the other egregious offenders is TikTok.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
the
God.
main
No
one.
surprise there.
That
Lou.
is the
Yeah.
main one.
No
That is.
surprise there. TikTok is a huge offender, but the biggest, believe it or not, the biggest was Instagram.
Yeah.
I thought really innocent Instagram with the cute little pictures of the dogs that I like to put the little hearts
Yeah.
on. Really?
Yeah,
Instagram?
that's how they get you with the cute little dogs, and they get
Yeah.
you in this chat room and say, "I'm so and so years old, and let's meet somewhere. You know, can you send me a picture of you?" And blah, blah, blah. That's how they get you started.
Yeah,
It's like an
Mhm.
entrance drug,
Yeah.
a
like a gateway.
51-year-old man and a beautiful girl in her mid-20s wants to, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Brother, I'm going to be 65 in a month and a half. Okay.
Like, all right.
I have mirrors in my house. I know what the fuck I look like. All right.
Me too.
I see myself 3 nights a week on this camera, and I go, "Oh my God!" Thank God I'm largely on radio because I got a face for radio and a voice for television.
I have a face for podcasting.
I hear you, brother. Man, I'm with you.
I'm behind the camera.
You're in front of the camera. I got news for you.
Yeah.
You're all over the fucking camera.
They call her Pitbull
Trying to
for a
get you
reason.
off of my damn TikTok too, but it doesn't seem to work.
Do not
Amelia
piss
comes
her
up
off.
every 5 seconds. And
Right. Don't piss me
Amelia
off.
posted another video. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus. Anyway.
Hey,
Yeah.
I posted about our show. Thank you.
Well, listen, you want to do something good? Intro the next commercial. It's your favorite.
Oh no, it's not my favorite.
I thought you liked that Manscaped commercial. That little fat guy. I thought you liked him.
Oh,
Not the fat
Oh,
guy.
we'll be right back
Basically,
after
little fat
Amelia's
guy
favorite
manscaping.
promo
Manscaped
spot.
commercial. Here we go.
Do you have sweaty balls or volleyball netty balls? It's time to make them ready balls. The Manscaped.com Lawnmower 3.0 will do the job and clean your knob with its patented no-nick head, so your head will function as desired. Enter promo code Wrestling Future for a generous 20% discount. That's enter Wrestling Future for a 20% discount. Manscaped.com and Wrestling with the Future, going balls to the walls with Manscaped.com and the Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you, and so will we. For expert bodywork and collision repair, there's only one place in Clementon, New Jersey. It's Bruce's Collision Center at 114 White Horse Pike in Clementon, New Jersey. Call Bruce at 856-783-1475 and tell him the Mad Dog sent you from WWTF Radio, global and around the world. We're back with What's the Buzz, America's Best Podcast. I'm Mad Dog DeCipio, joined by Big Lou Marconi and the mouth of the South herself, Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. We have a number of things to still yet to do here before we go tonight. But before we get into this, we're talking about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. Lou, how do we as a country, how do we as individuals, in your opinion, hit this subject, this really touchy subject head on?
Well, I think it starts with accepting reality that it's there and it's happening. That's the first step. And the people that were in denial of the Sound of Freedom when the movie came out, or they were pushing back on it, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a major part of the problem, because if you're not vigilant and noticing something, say, hey, this isn't right. Like, that's the start there. And then being vigilant and reporting these people and getting these kids out of harm's way would be the biggest start. I was just telling Amelia while you were on, when you went away for a minute there, that these same people that get up in arms when they see a Confederate flag or Confederate statue,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But there's all this slavery and sex trafficking happening now, right here today.
Mm-hmm.
They could do something about what's happening now. They can't go back 200 years and get rid
Yeah.
of Thomas Jefferson or whatever. They can't do that. They can't they can't they could do something today. They could do something right now to make the world a better
Yeah.
place. Get up off your ass and do it. I'm calling you out. I'm calling. I'm right there. I'll get right in your face. Say, come on, let's go.
Mhm.
Let's help out.
Absolutely. Amelia,
Mhm.
offer a solution. We know the problem. What would you do?
Well, if you see
As a
someone,
woman, let me ask you this. Let me rephrase it differently.
Mhm.
As a woman with the sensibilities of a woman, with the superior intellect, I'm going to go ahead and admit it. They're smarter than we are.
Well, we think with our little heads.
What do you think, Neil?
well,
How
if
do
I
you
if
face it?
well, if I see a kid or a young person, begging for food or something like that, go up to him, say, "Are you okay? I'll get you some food. Is there anybody I can call for you? See if I can help this one person because I felt like I make a difference."
Can
Help
I
that one person.
remind you of something?
What?
That's what the sex trafficker does. That's exactly what they do.
No, but I will actually call their parents, say, or find,
Call the
call a
police.
800 number, call 911, say, is this person missing? Try to find their name and say, do you have this person missing?
Mhm.
I saw him at so and so place, maybe help him along that way.
Yeah. I got 3 words for you, Amelia.
Mhm.
Listen very carefully. 911.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, if they
That
give me their
that
name.
that's how you make a difference. 'Cause I'm going to tell you what I believe, and again, I'm going to come across as a male chauvinist pig, but I think that women are far too emotional in regards to some subject matter, particularly children. And I think most women would do exactly what Amelia did. Are you okay? Do you need
Because
any
we're,
help? Can I call someone for you?
because
Because
we're
that's
overprotective.
exactly what the sex trafficker is going to say.
Mhm.
Also, they might be afraid to say anything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why,
When you're brainwashed and you're completely
yeah.
under somebody's
Yeah.
psychological
And
control,
that's
especially if you're a
exactly,
child.
Lou.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you're a
That's
child.
exactly right. Here's
Yeah.
the point, and I'm glad you said that, Lou. It's
Mhm.
really important that you said that because far too often people look at the overall circumstance and don't look at the underlying problem that's causing the issue. Why is the kid there on the street in the first place? How did they end up there? Okay, so we know
Broken
he's
homes.
homeless.
Broken
We
homes. Yeah.
know, he's in dire straits. And we know he may have an addiction problem. We know all this. That's the given part.
Yeah.
Here's how we fixed it, in my opinion. Finding out what led him there and working backward. Sometimes you got to back yourself into the problem. My wife is an accountant, and I love the way she does numbers because I can't do numbers for shit, and I can't even balance a checkbook. I'll just tell you, I just told the whole world, Anita, that I can't balance a checkbook. But here's the thing, though. My wife is very smart when it comes to numbers because she says if I can't find the problem, I'll wait a little bit and I'll back my way into it. And that's what we
Mhm.
do in situations like this. We can't and I know, Amelia, you want to throw yourself into it and like
Mhm.
rescue everybody because you got that mama thing going.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
it's perfectly natural. It's instinctful
Mhm.
for it's their instinct. Yeah.
That's exactly right, Lou. And
Mhm.
It's
that's
maternal
why I
instincts.
went
Yeah.
to that's
Mhm.
purposely why I just told Amelia,
Mhm.
put your womanly hat on here, because I
Yeah.
know that I can't,
Mhm.
because I can't think on that level.
Hmm.
But my wife says you back yourself into it, work yourself into it backwards, and that's a smart thing because that will lead you to that, and it doesn't take long, folks. I'll tell you.
No.
It doesn't take long to get from from Z to A. It's as quick to get from A to Z as it is Z to A.
Right?
Before you know it, that you'll know that kid's life story in about 3 minutes, and it doesn't take very long.
Oh,
Um, there are. Go ahead, Lou, because I see you're
no,
chomping at the bit.
yeah, because I'm just thinking about I think getting awareness in the media and the media actually saying something. Because if you
Hmm.
remember During the Second World War, a lot of stories about the Holocaust were on the back pages of newspapers,
Yeah.
and it didn't really come out until after the war was over because they were afraid people were thinking it was going to be the war for the Jews.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, I don't know what the reasoning behind it. Why isn't there more mainstream media people instead of just podcasters like us talking about this? Why isn't this out in the open more? Why aren't we talking about it? Why aren't we bringing more awareness on this? That I think would be a huge step in the right
The
direction.
answer, I'll give you a one-word answer:
There's a
money.
lot of there's a lot of power. I think it's in Hollywood. I think there's pedophiles in Hollywood left and right.
Oh, all the
There's
time.
nothing, but we did, Amelia.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
shows did we do?
At least
I had
3
to do
so
it.
far.
Lou, we had so much information. Amelia and I had so much info.
Mhm.
We had to do a 3-part show.
And we
I
have
had-
so much more.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I could do a year
Mhm.
just on Hollywood pedophilia and probably not do the same show twice.
Yeah.
I kid you
Not
not.
even talking about the Nickelodeon stuff. I mean, just this. Yeah, that just.
Oh,
that
we're
alone.
doing that. We're
Yeah,
doing
it's
that
gonna be
here next week, actually.
on Monday,
Yeah.
actually.
And yeah, I have a
Yeah.
child actress coming on too.
Oh,
Yeah. Who
Mhm.
knows the situation?
there was a Shirley Temple story. Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah, I know the Shirley story. Absolutely.
Shirley
Shirley
Temple.
Temple and Karen Black as well.
Yeah.
Actress Karen Black.
Go ahead.
Julie
I didn't
Garland
mean.
went. Yeah, Julie Garland went through the same thing too when she was a kid.
Yeah, she was
Um,
14 when she did The Wizard of Oz, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. She was the the proverbial bounce from the couch to couch. You know, I hate to be. I have.
Sit.
I'm trying to watch my language, but I already blew
Yeah.
that at the beginning of the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. It's
Um,
more.
Where are a number of states? You know, because we have 50 states. They're not all egregious offenders. The top 15 states in the U.S. for child and adult sexual human trafficking. Arizona, number 15. A reported number of 96 cases.
Yeah.
Estimated to be over 2,250 not reported. Okay. In the year 2018, 24 arrests were made. In the state of Virginia, Commonwealth of Virginia, 98 cases reported. Okay. 6 arrests were made. In my state, New Jersey, where I am now, 98 cases, up from 83. What's close to New Jersey? We got an ocean here. We got airports. We got New York City. Why is that important? Because you could get lost in New York in a hurry. You can get lost. You could blend in. Go to 45th and Broadway. They'll never find you.
Nope.
Hiding in plain sight. You'll never be found. Okay? I know. I've been there. New Jersey went from 83 to 98. It was number 13th and jumped to number 12. Now, Washington State,
Wow.
up in the great Northwest.
Access to the ocean and
Northwest.
Canada. Mhm.
A reported number of 99 cases. Estimated unreported over 3,000.
Wow.
What's in Washington State, Lou? Lots of trees.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else is there? Seattle. Why is that important? The grunge capital of the world. Lots of homeless, lots of drugs, lots of. Seattle is today what the Haight-Ashbury section of
San Francisco.
San Francisco was back in the 60s. Okay? So that's what we're talking about here. North Carolina, number 11.
Wow.
126 reported cases from 2018 to 2019. Estimates for 2024 exceed 500. Okay. Pennsylvania was number 10. Oh, and I'm sorry, and still remains number 10. It reported cases, verified reported cases, 127, with as many as 1,000 that have gone unreported. Number 9, Illinois. In particular, the city of Chicago, 135 cases just in the city of Chicago alone. That number comes from 2018. 2024 exceeds 300. State of Georgia is number 8 with 157. It remains at under 200. So Georgia is doing something right. We should also say that since Georgia has implemented its human trafficking law and the punishment thereof, numbers went from as high as 500 down to under 200. So we hope that they continue in that path. Nevada, particularly Las Vegas, 169 reported cases just from Clark County, Nevada. That's
Wow.
Las Vegas. It usually concerns girls between 15 to 18 in Nevada. Why Nevada? What's there, Neil?
Prostitution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's legal.
It's legal
in
there.
Nevada.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that with the Bunny Ranch? Was that outside
Yeah,
of Vegas?
it's there in Las Vegas.
That's the Bunny Ranch is in Laughlin, Nevada.
Yeah.
It's about an hour outside of Vegas.
Mhm.
But the state of Nevada has passed overall legal brothels. You can be a prostitute in Nevada and earn money legally, but you have to work for a brothel. If you work for a pimp, it's still illegal.
Yeah, I knew there was caveats to it. I heard about it because you ever been to Cheetahs in Vegas? You know who
I know the guy that runs it today.
Yeah, Godfather. Yeah, I know him too. Yeah, so I was there, and there was all these signs everywhere saying prostitution is not legal. Prostitution.
I knew Charlie I knew Charlie when he was still the soul taker.
Yep.
He used to come into my restaurant. Him and Larry Sharp.
Yep. He knew Charlie Fulton too, and he was like, that's how him and I got. Yeah, he was. Well, I remember when he was there. He was Papa Shango when I first met him. Yeah. But anyway,
I remember that.
D'Lo Brown was one of the bouncers there, and I knew D'Lo from way back when.
My wife used to hang out with D'Lo when he was a teenager.
Yeah, and he was there
his
too, and he was breaking up. This one guy was doing something. He's like, "Hey, don't," it was just because you have to be careful in those strip clubs because that could happen, and the whole place got shut down.
Absolutely, New York. Reported cases. It's no surprise here. Reported cases 206. Estimated. Listen to this one, Amelia. Estimated human trafficking that went unreported in the state of New York, city and state of New York, exceeding 5,000.
What?
Just in the year 2020 alone.
That's the second highest state and the highest populated state in the union.
Number 4, Ohio. Yeah, Lou. Okay. The most trafficking takes place in the western part of the states in hotels and motels, where hotels and motels are heavy. Now, why is that on the western part of the state? Why are there more hotels and motels than on the eastern side?
I wouldn't know.
California, you have Walt Disney World. You have those.
You mean on the state of Ohio? You talking about the state of Ohio? Is that what you're saying?
Part or
western part of Ohio? Is that what you were asking, Angelo?
Yeah. Because it's telling me, Lou, here you go. There's something. The most trafficking takes place in hotels and motels on the western side, commercial front brothels, and online ad.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know that Ohio had brothels.
I didn't know Ohio had brothals either.
Apparently they do, yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's legal.
Is there a lot of truck stops in that area?
A lot of truck stops. Well, you have I-75. I-75 could take you right up to Detroit to Winnipeg, and that's in the west side of the state, from all the way from Lima, Ohio, and Cincinnati, all the way up to Toledo and Detroit and Winnipeg. That's one of the reasons. Plus, you have access to the turnpikes. You have access. I mean, Ohio's you could, there's lots of different ways, different directions you can go from there. But But it's probably the easiest way to get to Canada is to take 75 through Detroit into Winnipeg
Check
versus.
this one out. This is going to be of interest to the next couple. Are
Mhm.
going to be of interest to Amelia. The government of Florida seems to be working hard. Ron DeSantis, working hard on preventing human trafficking. The number of reported cases, 367 that went reported. The number that went unreported exceeded 1,000. However, in that number, 277 people were arrested for sex trafficking during an undercover operation called Operation No Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
That's what's right there, folks.
Yeah, they did that recently.
Operation No Trick or Treat, right there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
And he said he's going to continue doing that until every single one of them is caught while he's governor.
Yep. Good.
The number of cases reported in the state of Texas, 455 reported, with an estimated 1,000 went unreported. Human trafficking is crawling into every sphere of Texas society, from government to business to small business to schoolyards. News from Texas reported that an eighth grade teacher, listen to this one, Lou, an eighth grade teacher was arrested in class for attempting to traffic her children in the school to Morocco.
What state was this, in Ohio or Florida?
Texas.
No,
Texas. Oof.
Amelia's home state.
Oof.
This was in Lubbock, Texas.
Oof.
Lubbock, Texas. That's not too
Lubbock.
far from where my hometown is.
Yeah.
3 hours from my hometown. Yeah.
Yeah, a hop, skip, and a jump from them.
Yeah.
That's why I said, Mill,
Yeah.
this is going to be of interest to you. And
What the hell?
now let me blow some minds over here. The number of number one, Texas was number 2, by the way. Number 1, California, with 760 reported. An estimated number of unreported cases is as high as 10,000 plus.
What the?
10,000 plus that they estimate went unreported. And why would they go unreported? Simple. Kids don't want to go into foster care. They don't want to go back into the situations they were in. They don't want to go to their alcoholic, drug-addicted families. Parents, believe it or not, there are a number of adults. They're just runaways. They're like runaway grown-ups.
Yeah.
We've done this show too.
Yes.
They run away from home.
Yeah.
You can't make this up, kids. I'm telling you can't make this up.
Yeah. And one
Here's
of them.
the problem, though.
Yeah.
And this is really where it becomes a problem. We can no longer, in my opinion, for whatever the fuck my opinions were, we can no longer anymore put a Band-Aid on the topic. We can't. We've got to rip the bandages off. We got to let the blood pour out. We got to show
about it. Mm-hmm.
We have to show the pus. We got to show the boils. We got to show the gore to let people. I want to show this video again without music. I just want you to look at the video, and I'm going to stop this along the way. Watch this. This is what, and look at this kid's face. This is what sex trafficking really looks like. Okay? That kid is scared to death. Okay?
Of course. Yeah.
Scared to death. You're watching now, you're looking at protesters. Stop human trafficking. 2+ children are forced into slavery. And I said this during the show, folks. Here's my validation for it. 2 kids every minute of every day are sold into slavery for sex trafficking from 11 to 14 years of age. If you think I'm bullshitting, folks, there it is. There's my validation. You can't make this up. Okay? And now let's take a look at this. Amelia, Tell everybody what's up there. Read all that, please.
It says human trafficking is modern day slavery, exploiting a person through force, fraud, or coercion. Sex trafficking, forced labor, and domestic servitude happening everywhere, even in the United States, and victims can be U.S. citizens or any nationality, age, socioeconomic status, or gender, or any person under the age of 18 involved in a commercial sex act.
And that's important because sex trafficking, by its very nature, is commercial. Why is it commercial? Because it generates revenue. Anything that generates revenue is going to have the government in it, on it, around it, or behind it. That means it's commercial. If the government's involved, it's commercial.
Yeah, we'll say we'll make sure that nobody will turn our backs as long as you give us a pay cut on it.
I want you to look at these pictures, okay? This is what sex trafficking looks like.
The one girl looks like she's 4 on the upper right.
Yes.
She was actually 6 and she's dead.
Oh my God.
They're all dead. That's what they all have in common. All these children are dead. The oldest of them is the girl, the African American girl to the bottom left.
Okay.
She's 17. She's the oldest of the crew. This is what sex trafficking looks like, folks. And that's what a sex trafficker looks like. They are largely African American or men of color, Jamaican, Dominican. They are usually dark men and some affluent white men. They are the groomers. This is a rescue you're looking at. This, by the way, Lou, straight out of Sound of Freedom, this was Honduras. This was Honduras where this is happening. And you'll see that the children's faces are blurred out.
Yeah.
To protect their identity and their innocence. One of the things that's been around a long time is called the Save the Children Fund. It's been around for almost 70 years. Okay. It was started by President Franklin Roosevelt. Sadly, I think President Roosevelt would be weeping tears if he realized that his Save the Children Fund was being used to promote the end of human trafficking. It's sad that it's come to that.
What was his original intent?
The original intent was to keep families together because literally, Lou, men and women were selling their children to be able to survive.
Yep, that I've heard of.
They were selling their kids to survive. There's a very famous case I'll tell you about right now. Elvis Presley. He was born with a twin.
Yep.
Well, we know his twin did not die. They said the narrative is that his twin Jesse Garin died.
That's
he
what I heard.
Did not die. He was sold because Gladys and Vernon Presley couldn't afford 2 children and themselves. So Elvis ended up being the only so-called only child of Gladys and Vernon Presley. It was easier to tell Elvis, your brother died in stillbirth.
Yes.
That's the truth. That's the story. And Graceland knows it. And Graceland has that story.
Were they ever able to find the brother?
Yes.
Go ahead.
He was actually living in Lima, Ohio. You mentioned Lima. That's Al Snow's hometown.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually living in Lima, Ohio for a while. Thin, though. He looked like a young, thin Elvis. You know? He wasn't.
Were they identical twins or fraternal?
They weren't identical. No, okay. They were fraternal twins. Yeah. Yeah, but that would have been a head fuck. Huh? That would have been a real head fuck. I want you to take a look at this. This is in Honduras. Again, you're looking at, if you see the older people here, there's a guy looking over his shoulder, looking at this kid. The kid's obviously his picture's being taken by someone older. But you see this man in the green shirt and the guy in the golden brown shirt. They're looking behind them. They want to know, first of all, why is he even looking at that camera? He's not supposed to. Okay. This is at a child labor facility. This kid was sold into child labor. Fortunately, the good news for this story is that he's been rescued and he's no longer there. Here's the exception to the rule. You're looking at an African-American guy and 5 white guys. Okay. They all have one thing in common. They were all arrested in Georgia, the state of Georgia. They were all arrested in Cobb County, Georgia. They were all charged with sex trafficking. They were also charged with a kidnapping, and in that they brought a child under 18 over state lines from Kentucky. Yes, from Kentucky. So you're looking at 6 guys there. This is atypical because generally you're not going to see white guys like this. The white guys involved in this, the white men and women, largely take charge of the, I want to call it the, how would you want to say this, Lou? The schematics of the event here, the mechanics of it, rather than the kidnapping of the children per se. They're involved in the implementation, the execution of all of this, and they're largely the people who handle the money. Rarely will you see the African Americans or the Dominicans handle the money because they'll keep it and you'll skip off.
Well, yeah.
And that's, I'm sorry to stereotype folks, but that's just
that's the truth. That's exactly the truth.
It is the truth, and we have to speak it.
Yeah.
This is a real picture. This is from the Department of Homeland Security. This picture was taken in Monaco. This is the back of a truck. It's a trailer, a bit, like a semi trailer. It's loaded from asshole to appetite. You see every face there is blocked out. Every face there is blocked out. They were all rescued. This picture was taken by Interpol police, which is a joint effort of European and American worldwide police. It's Interpol. It's the international police. There's about 200 kids there, by the way, in case you're counting. About 200. This is the typical. This is what you're going to see. Good-looking guys, fit right in, kind of fit in anywhere. Fit in a big city, small town. You never suspect them. I want people to realize human trafficking is everything Amelia talked about. It's also in the U.S. It's worldwide. It can happen anywhere to anyone at any time. No one is safe. No one is immune. And domestic servitude, call it what it is, slavery, does exist today. Now, hopefully we'll get rid of it. This is
heartbreaking.
This is the face of the sex trade, ladies and gentlemen, in 2024. There's not a child pictured here that is over the age of 10.
Oh, my God.
Not a single child there is over the age of 10. I verified every photo. The oldest is 10. And that would be the young little girl, top left-hand corner, that Caucasian young lady there. She's 10 years old. The youngest is 5. She's right here. She's on the right-hand side. That's what we're talking about. You want to know what slavery looks like? You want to know what a perp looks like? There's a scumbag right there for you. Lou, sharpen up your knife, brother. We're going hunting.
Ugh.
I got my 9mm.
I want you to take a look at the face on this piece of shit. And in fact, he looks like a piece of shit. I didn't know they could pile shit 6'2". But this is what we're talking about. He's got a smirk on his face, like, you know what? I'll be out in 2 hours. And you know what?
Exactly.
Here's the sad part. He's probably right.
That's
Somebody will probably post bail for him. He'll be out.
He'll force one of his girls, as he calls it, to get him out.
By the way, I want to talk about this photo. It says not for sale. We're going to go back to that in a minute. I want to tell everybody out there, especially young people listening to me, there are still good people left in the world. If you are with your abductor in public, you don't have to scream, yell, or holler. It's as simple as this, kids, and listen to me carefully. It's as simple as taking your soda and throwing it on the ground, taking a Coke bottle and tipping it over, taking a can of beverage and tipping it over. In other words, create a scene, create a distraction, get somebody's attention. Once you do that and there are people around, your perp has nowhere to go.
Yep.
He will be surrounded before you know it.
Absolutely. And there's also a signal that they can give with their hand, too.
There's, yes.
This.
You're looking at it right there. Let's see that again. Hold on. There you go.
That, or close their hand like this to someone.
I've heard that. I've seen like the hand signals can mean something.
This is the hand signal, folks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close your hand like that. Yeah. To someone.
It's this.
Did you see in the Sound of Freedom when the guy got caught at the border with his kid, and he goes, "I'm the kid's uncle," and the kid, I mean, he's white as Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
And this kid was from Honduras. I mean, it was obvious.
Oh, clear.
Oh,
yeah. It was like.
They come up with some of the lamest excuses, Big Lou. They really do. Take a look at these guys. I want you to look. There are two women in this picture.
Yep.
Okay. They're all, here's the funny thing, though. They're all good-looking people. There are 8 people there that if you ran into any of these people on the street, you wouldn't give them a second look. 2 attractive women, and the other 4. I'm sorry, was it 4? Is it 4? Oh, and 6 guys. I'm sorry, 4. Yeah, 6 guys. I lost my count there for a second. There's 6 guys, 2 women. That's 8. That's right. There you go. I told you I flunked at math. Here's what we're talking about, though, here, and this is important. They're average people. They don't look. What does a sex trafficker look like? They look like you. They look like me. They look
could be
like
anybody.
Like
anyone.
these people here. You could run into these people. You'll never know. All right, here you go. This is Monaco. I want you to look at these kids.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
emaciated. They're skin and bones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were rescued.
Starving. Yeah.
And the people behind them, thank God, are protecting them. They're also doing a head count to make sure that everybody's accounted for. But this is in Monaco. And for whatever reason, I think because there's only 2 kinds of people in Monaco. Very affluent and very poor. There's no middle ground there.
There's
You're
no
either
middle
rich
class.
or you're poor. Yeah. You're either rich, Lou, or you're poor. That's it. That's all that goes there. Here's the cycle. Protect, recognize, recover, restore, and bring justice. That's the 5-point criteria from right counterclockwise. We're going, clockwise. Protect, recognize, recover, restore, bring justice. Protect the children. Recognize the problem. Recover the child if possible. Restore their faith in humanity and bring them justice. That's what we're looking at. If you don't have that, go online and get it. It's the 5 points of child sex trafficking. A human, the child, and I have to keep. I'm saying child the whole show. It's adult and child sex trafficking.
Yep, there's adults.
This poor woman. This is all too familiar. Sadly, this woman's son, his name is Sam, took his own life and died on August 25th, 2009, following a battle with being sex trafficked. It affected him so much did it affect this kid that he could no longer live. He committed suicide in his mother's home. She found him. Okay. That woman has to live with 2 heartbreaks. Number one, that she found him. Number 2, she'll never see her son alive again.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
horrible.
That's the real victim of sex trafficking, folks. That picture speaks for itself. Again, we talked about it during the show. Always tired, neglected, stressful, abuse. The looks. They have a certain look. A kid that's been abducted. Let's just call it what it is. A kid that's been stolen. They all have a certain look.
Right.
They look stressed, abused. They look tired, neglected. And they are, because they don't sleep. These traffickers keep them on the go all the time. All the time. That's what we're talking about.
Wow. Go ahead.
No, and then I feel like once they're rescued too, they still can't sleep. They're still going to be waking up. Or are they going to still be safe at their own home once they're rescued?
Nicole Sizemore, Amelia, is in the chat. She says, doesn't surprise me that it's not in the news, though. And that's the truth. You know what, Nicole, if you're still with us, that's the truth.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
There's a reason it's not in the news. Too many powerful people are making too much fucking money.
Exactly.
You'll hear it mentioned every now and then just to throw it out there. Okay, it's a public service. Throw it out there, but don't give it too much attention. You know, don't give it too much credibility. Here you go. Oh, there's a picture for you guys.
These are
all women.
They're all Asian women, it looks
They're
like,
all
except for one
Asian
guy.
women.
There's one guy at the bottom, middle.
Yeah, but they're all primarily Asian. They are actually, Lou, Filipino. And the guy, the Caucasian guy there, the white guy, he is, sadly, he's Italian, number one. Secondly, he's the money guy behind this. This is the groomer that's putting a shit ton of money. Thankfully, they arrested the piece of shit. These are the mugshots, by the way. And he's smiling. Again, he's smiling because he knows this is temporary. I'll be out again. And he's probably out as we speak. But you're looking at 8 women and 1 guy. Again, all Filipino. The Philippines is a huge, huge turning point for sex trafficking, particularly for children, because it's a hop, skip, and a jump to any place overseas. The Philippines can get you to the islands, to Hawaii, to China, Japan, anywhere in the Far East. It's that close to them. People don't understand just how small this world really, really is.
Can be.
It used to be it would take you a long time to go around the world. You could be around the world in a day now, folks. Literally, you could fly around the world in literally under 24 hours. Do you believe that? It's the truth.
Wow.
That's the truth, and it's a scary thought. That's the face of the perps. That's the face of fear.
Yeah.
Again, we talk about protect, recognize, recover, support, bring justice. I really can't emphasize enough the need for people to just forget about the niceties. Forget the niceties, okay, folks? We don't have time to be nice here. It's time to be real. It's time to be practical. It's time to get these fucking scumbags behind bars where they belong, or better yet, in Lou's backyard, buried where you can't get to them.
Right?
You know?
I
Hey,
hear things.
I will help put a few there too.
Hey,
Mhm.
I said this. I've said this out loud. I said, if anybody puts their hands on my daughters, I will kill you.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
And I would tell the judge. I would tell the judge in court. I'd be like, my only regret is I can't bring him back to life and kill him again. Do what you have
Yeah.
to do.
I'll go to
That's
jail.
that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Justifiable
just like,
homicide, my friend. Justifiable homicide.
I'll
yeah,
go to jail. I'll be yep.
I'd go to jail. I would in a
Yep.
heartbeat. Yep.
Mhm.
If I didn't do it, I'd get it taken care of somehow.
Oh yes.
Brother, let me tell you something. I had New Jack stay in my house for 2 days. Jerome Young.
Yep, I know Jerome. Well, Lord rest his soul, but yeah, I know.
Yeah. I knew him he used to stay with me here because he lived in Ventnor, New Jersey, which is about 40 minutes from my house. Jerome had four counts of justifiable homicide against him
Mhm.
and had every one of them dropped by the judge. Okay. You know why? Simple. People didn't know this about Jerome, but Jerome was a certified federal agent. He was a U.S. Marshal. People didn't know that. Nobody knew that about Jerome Young, New Jack. He was a federal marshal, a U.S. Marshal, and had the credentials to show it. He was also a certified bondsman, a bail bondsman. He used to go, he was a bounty hunter, essentially. People don't know that. Did you ever know that?
No, I did not know that.
You do now. That's the
Yeah.
truth. Absolutely true.
Hmm.
Absolutely true. Next time you see Tommy Dreamer or Bubba, ask them.
I remember I wasn't at ECW when the mass transit thing happened, but Paul Heyman's
Oh,
family.
that mass transit. Let me tell you something. That kid
Yeah.
did that to himself.
Oh, I know.
That was
he
that
could.
was all him.
First off, you don't let anybody blade you but you. First.
Thank you.
First and
Unless
foremost.
you trust. You got to trust somebody with your life
And
to let them blade. You ain't going to give a blade to Jack.
And he was an idiot in the locker room because you just shut up, do your job, don't. It was just he just
They
wasn't
knew
really
something was wrong, Lou, when he marked out over being in a match. He'd never been in a ring before.
Yeah.
Never been in a ring. He went in the ring with shoes. Okay, you hear what I'm saying? Shoes.
He wasn't wearing boots.
He didn't own boots. He didn't own wrestling gear. He bought a pair of spandex tights at some dance shop. This is what you want to know what we're talking about? This is what we're talking about.
Yep. And I remember when that I wasn't there yet, but I kind of knew I said this because somebody put in a word for him with Paul. So yeah, he's good. He's good. Usually that's how it works. That's how you get work. Somebody puts in a word for you. But yeah, anyway, I didn't mean to get off the subject from what we were talking about.
I know I know that case, brother, because I was going to write. I'll just tell everybody. Everybody knows it now. I was going to be New Jack's or Jerome Young. I was going to be his ghostwriter. I was going to write his book. And then he had a falling out with me. And then he hired another guy to write his book. And he wrote the book. And then New Jack died.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
No. It was 6 months after he wrote the book.
Wow.
New Jack passed away. The other thing, though, about sadly, though, but Jerome was an addict. He drank all day long.
I've seen him do cocaine.
And his coke. Yeah, well, that's what ended up killing him. He had so much coke in the system, his heart couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah, he was. Well, there were so many drugs going through that ECW locker room. It scared me.
Oh, brother, we're going to do a show on that one day. The downfall of ECW. You know what, Lou? We should do that.
One of these
Amelia, write that down, please. Could you make note of that?
Sure.
I think we want to do that. I think our wrestling fans deserve to hear that show.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it was that's one of the reasons I was like, this isn't right because that's why those guys are putting themselves through meat grinders all the
yeah.
time. And
Mhm.
Oh my God, yeah, please.
Mhm.
yeah,
Amelia, what we got coming up? Tell everybody what's coming.
Tomorrow we have the Escape from Alcatraz Part 2.
Yes, Mike Lynch and Ken Widener will be here for part 2 of the second and final installment in Alcatraz, The Great Escape, an amazing book based on the incredible true story of Ken Widener's 2 uncles, Clarence and John Anglin, 2 of the 3 men who escaped from Alcatraz and lived to tell the story.
Yes.
But no, Mad Dog, they got eaten up by sharks in the San Francisco Bay. Oh, no, they didn't, folks. They
No.
made it alive and well, and proof beyond proof, forensic proof to validate that. Okay.
Yes.
And we've got the proof. Got Mike and Ken going to be here, and we're going to talk about the planning, the implementation, and the execution of the escape. That's tomorrow night. And Wednesday, what do we got coming up, Amelia?
Anton LaVey and Aleister Crowley. We're going to talk about them 2 evil
The
guys.
devil has 2 faces. We're going to be here Wednesday. The devil has 2 faces. Anton Zander LaVey and Aleister Crowley, the preeminent Satanist in the world that inspired David Bowie, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles,
Metallica,
Metallica, Iggy Pop,
Black Sabbath.
the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, it's a who's who of
Yes.
music. And then, of
Wow.
course, Anton LaVey, he inspired a number of Hollywood celebrities. That was his main thing. You'll see him with people like Jane Mansfield, Sammy Davis Jr., Elvis Presley. Yes, Elvis
Yes.
Presley with Anton LaVey.
Elvis Presley. Yes.
For real, folks. It's like you want to talk about the Twilight Zone. That was a meeting of the fucking minds. Let me tell you. I don't know what Colonel Parker was thinking there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he was.
Lou, promote yourself, my friend. What do you got coming up?
Okay. What I got coming up? Well, obviously, I'm going to be doing the Cleveland Browns talk on the Fanatical Elves Network, but the Sunday Stew Pot every Sunday morning on Rumble with myself and Corey Castle. Check it out.
Beautiful. And Amelia, what do you got? You got more TikTok videos coming up?
Of our show? Sure.
No, I mean, you see, folks, Amelia's got like 93,000 TikTok videos.
Can I ask a quick question before
Sure.
the
Sure.
OnlyFans stuff? Is that traffic too? Is that from trafficking?
I believe so.
I mean, I'm just curious.
OnlyFans?
Oh, you mean for real?
Yeah.
Serious
Yeah.
question?
Serious question.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. OnlyFans is implicated heavily in
Mhm.
sex trafficking.
Do you know who 90% of the subscribers are to OnlyFans? I heard this today. My jaw dropped. I couldn't believe it.
Blow my mind.
Married men.
No surprise. I thought you were going to blow my mind. That's not a surprise.
Well, Amelia seemed surprised. I was surprised because I thought it was a bunch of lonely single guys that can't get
No.
laid.
Mhm.
No, let me tell you who the biggest perverts are. Married men and women. Married men and I want to tell you, brother, you would not believe how many married couples are unhappy in their sex life and looking for what they see in the movies. See, everybody wants to live a cinema life. We're
Mhm.
going to do a show. Actually, I have a show planned. Amelia doesn't even know it yet, Lou. I have a
I'd be
show
happy
planned called The
to do
Cinema
that.
Life.
I've been married almost 11 years and we're fine. We're doing great.
I've been married for 10, been with Anita for 12.
Mhm.
And brother, I'm gonna tell you something. It's as fresh today as it was the day we got married.
Yeah, I've been married for almost 11, been together with Christine for over 15. So yeah, we're great.
Yeah. The thing is, and people need to understand this because it's really important that because it all ties into this.
Yeah, it does.
The married couple is looking for what they see in the movies. People, this is it's a head shaker. They're looking for that. But you remember though, our generation is the last with sensibilities. Our kids and grandkids are fucked beyond all repair. FUBAR. Fucked up beyond all repair. Remember that, Amelia. FUBAR. FUBAR. Okay? FUBAR. Get
Wow.
familiar with that term. You'll
Well,
be tested on it later.
Yeah, because I remember, okay, my first time, I'll just do this quick story. When I was
No, go
15,
ahead, Luke,
I was
please.
15 years old,
Yeah.
way too young. But the thing that almost threw me off, it didn't slow me down, but it threw me off was the girl. The girl was older than me.
Yeah.
And it technically was statutory rape because she was 18. Okay.
Yeah.
But I was consent. I wasn't legal age of consent in Ohio in 1988.
Yeah.
But the thing that almost threw me because I got like this image in my head of movies and whatever, what it's going to be like.
Mm.
She had a different color pair of panties on from her bra, and that almost threw me off.
Wow.
It's like really that okay.
Because they're supposed to match, right?
They're supposed to match. Everything's supposed to be perfect. The lighting's perfect. Everything's great. You hear music, blah blah blah. All that stupid bullshit. And I gave her the best. I gave her the best 30 seconds of her life. So that was about it.
How old are you, Luke? What, 50?
I'll be 51 next month.
You'll be 51 next month.
And I was way too young when I started. When I had sex, I was way too young. I think I was only 15. I was a kid,
my brother, and that story sounds familiar to me too.
Yeah. No, it's just kind of like it was like a summer of 42 type of thing. And it was just kind of like, looking back on it, I was a stupid kid, but yeah. And
Catch Lou Marconi on Burning River Browns Talk
and the Sunday Scoop on Rumble
podcast near you. Catch Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman, 37 times a day on TikTok. She'll come through every 5 minutes for you.
No,
and you can catch me 3 days a week here. I'm the Mad Dog. She's the Pitbull. That's Big Lou Marconi. We will see you tomorrow night, folks. Take care. God bless. And if you see trafficking happening near you, 911 and watch our credits, please. The numbers will show up again. Take care, folks. We'll see you tomorrow night. God willing, the creek don't rise. Bye-bye.
Thank you.